Hey guys, I just want to hop on here. It's Saturday after work, and I wanted to talk about failure and how it can springboard us into a better future and handling things better, and in the future, making us better because of our shortcomings and because of, why did we fail? Why did this happen? And also, it's a litmus test to see how much we've grown, because the way you handle failure versus now versus in the past, it's a really good gauge of how you're growing. So I had a very strange and really challenging and really upsetting work day today. And so all I'll say, because I don't really want to talk about my business or my clients because it's not appropriate, I don't think, but I will say that on my end, looking at it, one of the instances was definitely, in my eyes and perspective, a two-way street. But I realized standing back that all of them were a communication issue on my end. Even if I had valid reason to do what I did, which, I just dealt with a lot of unhappy people today. And most of that hinged upon my willingness to be able to communicate. And a lot of times in me, it looks like being stifled. I grew up in a home where communicating was not, you got your ass beat, or like you got beat up. And I'm not talking about my parents either, so let me say that. And while I never endured physical abuse, I endured it around me to the people who didn't do what they were supposed to do. So that really, throughout my life, stifled my voice in many ways because I saw the repercussions of that as a very young child. So that still is something I'm working on, and it's something that I saw very plainly today, because what I didn't do, what I would have done, was make excuses and blame everybody but myself, or do a yeah, but you blah, 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 blah. So I meditate every day. I journal when I can remember, and I try to do a lot of learning about I hate self-improvement. I hate that word, and I hate the cheapness of that genre / whatever category can be. But I really do mean in trying to be a better person, like not because you want something out of it necessarily, like money or leveling up or girl bossing it or whatever the fuck, but because you want to be a good person. And it pisses me off too, because that's like, I feel like the content creation, like you can get lost in that if you don't do your due diligence to find some genuine books, podcasts, creators, movies, music. It doesn't matter, but you have to really separate the wheat from the chaff and find the good. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But I took a step back, and sometimes I always play devil advocate with myself, and I really didn't want to invalidate myself, because I'm not somebody that just, the things one person was saying to me was really hurtful, because it was clear that this person wrestled with, in whatever scenario, people not treating her well. And so because of that, it took it out on me as if I was also doing that, whatever she thinks I was doing to her. And it's like, no, that's not what I'm doing. I legitimately thought this was the right way to go about this service, and that's what I did. And the fact that you think that I'm trying to hurt you hurts me too, because I thought we were closer than that. But that's a whole nother thing. I said, I don't want to get into that. But what I made sure to do. It's like, you don't sit there and, yeah, okay, you can feel the way you do about it. But also, is there a pattern? Is there a pattern with these instances today? And anything in the past, what do you see? And the pattern I saw is I am not communicating effectively. I am not communicating so that everybody is on the same page. And it comes back to bite me every so often. This is not an all the time thing, thank God. Ugh, I hate it. But I do know it's like, okay, well, you need to like fix that. You got to figure it out. Like you got to woman up and say how much it is. Say I'm doing this amount of work and it's going to cost this much. Say, and I realized that a lot of times I wasn't speaking up that way because I was afraid I would either lose people or, I would, like, I don't know, that something bad was going to happen. But really the bad happened when I didn't do what I was supposed to do. And regardless of whether I was in the right or not, still, like, at the end of the day, the communication should have been had regardless. How the fallout happens or whatever happens with that, well, that's a different story and you kind of go on from there. But I didn't allow that to unfold that way because I was afraid of the response of me doing what I had to do, making a professional decision and trusting myself that I know what I'm talking about, that I'm worth, saying what I'm saying as a professional. These are all the things that I was afraid to do. Oh, it can make me cry. But so it's like, oh, that sucks. But like some really good things happen. Like after that, I got a text and it was like, hey, it was like a new client. I was like, oh my gosh, well, not a new one, but like somebody who wants to seek more services. And like I had a really good exchange at the store just now because I'm buying a gift for one of my best friends for her birthday party. There's like a lot of good that is interwoven in between. When we are having really bad days, the first thing to do is realize that it's temporary. Just as temporary as it is being on cloud nine, it's just as temporary as failing. You can now, one of the things I thought immediately when everybody left and I'm in my studio and I'm sitting down eating my lunch, I was like, thank God I made the lunch and thank God I have something to eat. Because if I didn't, I'd be freaking out right now. My blood sugar would make me probably like an emotional wreck. But like, oh, I made a meal and I have a meal right now. Okay, thank God. And it's quiet. And then it's like, the first inclination for, I think, all of us is to hop on a screen because we don't want to be faced with the yucky feelings we're feeling. Okay, well, don't do that. You need to sit there and sit with it. It sucks. It's embarrassing. It's hurtful. It's sad. It's whatever, anxiety inducing, but you don't get through it without going through it. Okay. You have to sit with it. You have to be with yourself and you need to show that you're there for yourself. You can't just abandon into a screen and just expect it all to just resolve itself. And I didn't want any repression. I wanted to handle it. And because I did that, I was able to see what mistakes that I made. Okay. How I'm in the wrong and what I need to work on. And like, so now I know it's like, okay, well, that's the end of that because I'm not doing that anymore. Like we're done with the non-communicating effectively, even if it takes me forever to learn the skills to do a proper like consultation, whatever. Again, I've been doing this for so long, but it's like you get set in your ways and doesn't matter. It's time to do it the right way. And it's time to stop cutting corners and you need to communicate effectively, period. And then I think about, okay, well, how's this affected me in my personal life? You know what I'm saying? And I haven't done that thought work yet because I just had that thought now. But I'm going to sit back and think about it. And I'm going to take notes and I'm going to take stock and kind of really see how my communication or stifled communication because of past trauma has affected me up until now. And that's when you begin the repair with yourself, and that's when you begin the work to fix it and to grow. not fix, grow. So what I want you to take away from this video is like, when your shitty day happens, like, don't forget to look and acknowledge all the good things that are still happening around you. It is so easy to get lost. It is so easy, but you don't have to, because these things aren't just like this or that. Good and bad things are happening all the time simultaneously. And you have to not just see the bad things when they're happening. And I know it's easy for me to say, but hell, I'm going through a shitty day right now, but I was still able to say, like, the person at Barnes & Noble was really, really nice and funny and treated me nicely. People held the door for me, I just had good interactions after the work day there on out. So it's like, I can either stay in Angerville, or I can move on, so it's like, what are you going to do? What is your choice? You have to remember, I'm telling you guys, I talk about this shit all the time. I don't care what meditation looks like to you. I'm telling you to do it. It works. It works to do it consistently every single day. If you take 5 minutes every morning, it doesn't matter. If you can sit in silence for 5 minutes, you can stare at the ceiling. But as long as you're noticing what's going through here for those 5 minutes, it's going to allow you to pay attention to what's up here when you're interacting in your everyday life. And that's when you stop and say, well, maybe I wasn't doing the thing that I needed to do. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I should have done this, that, or the third. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But I'm just sharing this with you so, one, you guys start becoming present in whatever. If you don't want to meditate, figure out how you're going to do that. And I encourage you to do that by learning what becoming present means and mindfulness means. Thich Nhat Hanh's a wonderful author and a teacher. So a lot of audiobooks for free. Your local library will have. Put it on and go for a walk. But also know that there's good always around you. You're always supported, even though the things might not be working out. And also, things aren't personal. And sometimes things are not personal. Like, for instance, I think the way one of the interactions I had was very hurtful, but it came from a place of hurt, and that was abundantly clear. So you have to understand that most of the time, the way people are talking to you, even though if it's shitty, it's not because of who you are at the core of who you are. And to take things personally, you can't. It doesn't mean you got to take shit from anybody, but it doesn't mean sit there and think, well, what did I do? Or not what did I do? Again, you should reflect on what you did, but the tone doesn't always have something to do with you. So I've got to get going. I didn't want this video to get super long. I'm going to cut it off here. If you liked what you heard, let me know how you guys deal with it. I don't know. This is the first time I had this like moment of clarity where it's like, holy shit, like I'm taking this out, like I'm growing, and I see real time that I'm growing. So if you guys have any advice, leave it in the comment below. Share it, because me and anybody else who's reading it will benefit from anything you have to say. So please share it. Like, share, and subscribe. Share it with somebody you love. Hit the bell for more notifications so you don't miss out anything. A subscription is so easy. It takes no time at all, but it does me a lot of good. So if you like it, subscribe, send a like, and I love you so much. Be well and have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Thanks for listening.